Yo, sorry for being a few minutes late. Me and Jez were talking about some interesting stuff. So, welcome to the Xbox 2. This is episode number 33. I'm one of your hosts, Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, as you all well know. And with me, as always, the one and only Jez Corden from Windows Central, who always has the leaks, the scoops, the news. What's going on, Jez?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sleepy. How are you?
Sleepy. Is it
Yeah.
true, Jazz, that you always have the leaks, the news, and the scoops?
Not anymore. I had some earlier this year, but they've dried up a bit now. I know things, but more often than not, it's things I'm not allowed to talk about now. So
Huh.
I'm the man with the articles moaning about things.
Yeah,
That's me.
you just posted an article. What was it like? Most disappointing games of the year, something like that.
Most disappointing gaming things of 2017. Yeah, that's what I just
What was your
posted.
number one? Was it Windows Phone going away?
Nah, I didn't rank it in order, but obviously the number one thing that pissed me off this year was the loot crates thing.
Ah, yes.
This year felt like the year of loot crates.
It is 2017, the year of the loot crate. It basically is when it kind of all came together and people got upset about it.
Yeah. What was your biggest disappointment of 2017?
Geez, I was planning on like doing a video for it or sometime. I really haven't given it much thought, but like out of the top like thing in my head, like game wise, that comes to disappointment is Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Because I was really expecting a really cool, great, in depth Star Wars campaign, and I got a completely shallow one. You
Yeah, it
know?
was pretty shallow.
I mean, so maybe as part of that's my problem. I hyped myself up for it. Where if I kind of like just kept my expectations low, like, oh, this is going to be trash, I probably would have been pleasantly surprised because it wasn't terrible by any stretch of the imagination. It just was just a shallow experience. It's like, yeah, we're going to give you this experience for Star Wars fans. Now get at the multiplayer and spend some money on those loot boxes, won't you? Get out of this single player. That's what it kind of felt like for me. And also probably Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Oh,
I'm
actually,
a
yeah,
big
that
fan
was
of the
quite disappointing.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ghost Recon, like the previous ones, and I felt this one was just like it was just aimless, directionless. You know, you could basically just go around, not pay attention to the story, just complete missions, and that's it, man. Like, like it's there were, I don't know, it got boring after a while. I mean, it looks great, but that's kind of the whole issue. That's the patented Ubisoft open world formula. You know, a lot of icons on the map, a lot of collectibles to get and stuff like that, right? Um,
Yeah, it's that Ghost Recon Wildlands suffers from the whole open world for the sake of open world. You know, it's
yeah.
like, look at this amazingly huge open world, this ridiculously huge open world. By the way, there's nothing in it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It looks great. I did enjoy half. Like, I think I played it with Maka and Gopher for review, and it was like I played it. We played it for 55 hours. The first 20 was enjoyable, and then the last 30 was just a chore. It was like, oh god, please, I don't want to play this anymore. Trying to think of all the games I play. Playing some of these games. Oh, Uncharted 1 would probably be a disappointment. My first time playing through Uncharted 1,
Uncharted
and
1's a rough.
Uncharted
That's
1
the
is
only
a
one
very,
I've played.
very, 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 very bad game. So much so, I was
Yes.
surprised that it got a sequel. Glad it did because Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 are absolutely phenomenal, and all led, of course, to Last of Us, which is the best game I played this year, even though it's 4 years old. But it won't make my top 10 because it's got to be top 10 games. That came out this year. But if it was like, what are the best game you played this year? It'd be like, well, that's Last of Us. But yeah, Uncharted 1 was disappointing because I had heard so much about the franchise, and Uncharted 1 was just poop. You know?
It was. It's Uncharted 1's the only one I've played actually, and I couldn't get through it. It's so bad. But
Yeah.
that's the thing about franchises. You're meant to stick with them and iterate. and make sequels that are better. I think that's
Yep.
something Microsoft doesn't understand.
You know, it'd be great if Microsoft would have followed that formula because we could have Rise 2 and Sunset Overdrive 2 and you know, who knows how awesome those games could have been and started franchises. But alas, those are just one and done, unfortunately.
One hit.
One hit wonders, yeah.
Not wonders. Maybe wonders is the wrong word, but
yeah.
One hit
So me and Jez, we have a good show planned for you tonight. There's not much to talk about, so I did gather some topics, but you know, as always, if you guys want something to be talked about, make sure you post it in chat, or you know, if you want to use super chat or the donation links, everything's in the links below. Because we're gonna talk about Destiny 2, the 4K update that it got finally, the HDR update that went to every console, the Game Awards stuff, which you know. Jeff is really doing his job, pumping this one up and hyping it up because, it seems like there's going to be a lot of stuff announced there, which is going to be interesting. And of course, some PSX stuff, which is this weekend. We already got kind of some leak from it. Well, not a leak from it, but, God of War, at the least they got leaked. I'm looking forward to watching PSX, but all that stuff. But first, Jazz, games played. What have you been... You been playing any more VR stuff? I know you're really big into that now for whatever reason.
What did you say? Sorry.
The VR. Like you've been playing any VR since you love it so much.
Yeah, actually, I was playing Doom VR this weekend, and it's actually really opened my eyes to something. Microsoft actually has the best platform for VR. They actually do. And I'll tell you why. It's because Doom VR, right, is designed for the HTC Vive. So when you connect Doom VR to a Windows mixed reality headset, it doesn't work with the joysticks. You have to play it like it's HTC Vive VR, which doesn't have any joysticks. It's got these lame little touchpads, but no joysticks. So if you want to actually turn around, in a HTC Vive game, you have to physically turn around if the touchpads haven't been mapped to movement. So when I was playing Doom VR Rand, I got wrapped up in the cable. I ended up feeling motion sickness because I was spinning around all the time. Because even Doom VR, it's a fast-paced game where enemies are spawning all around you, so you have to turn around a lot. I ended up getting wrapped up in the cable and all this stuff, and I was thinking, man, if only this game supported the joysticks on the Windows Mixed Reality controllers, because the Windows Mixed Reality controllers have joysticks on them, so you can turn around without actually physically turning around. But I've heard that Bethesda actually is looking to support Windows Mixed Reality, and by extension, hopefully, Xbox One X VR in the future. So, DI Almighty Spartan God says they don't have the perfect platform for VR. All they have is Halo and Gears for VR. First of all, there are no Halo and Gears VR games. There's a Halo VR demo, not a game.
Hey, Jazz, really quickly, I want to give a shout out to Kid Smooth for dropping that fire Halo Gears and Forza track he put out on his channel yesterday. Oh man, I was listening to that and I was dying. He did his stream yesterday like half drunk. Oh my god, dude, I was dying. I caught some of it. I literally was like crying. But shout out to Kid Smooth, the best bot for coming. Halo Gears and Forza. Go ahead, Jess. I just had to say that.
I don't know. Other than Doom VR, which has a lot of potential. I've been playing. I actually reinstalled the Division to see because I haven't played the Division since launch, right? And the Division's had loads of expansions and patches, blah blah blah. And the Division is supposed to be getting Xbox One X enhanced, so I installed it now because the Xbox One X enhanced patch will probably drop any day now. And I went back to it to see if it was any better since I haven't played it for, 2 years? Like 1.5 years-ish?
Mm-hmm.
It's still it's still not a good game, and
Oh,
it's still bad.
oh, that's not good. Hmm.
Yeah,
You want to know what I played?
sure.
I got 10,000 gamer score in 2 days. What?
How?
I beat 10 games basically.
Oh my god! You know,
Uh-huh.
I'm almost at 100,000 game score.
Jez, I could put up half your gamer score this month
I don't know how. It's like
because I'm just
I
that
play
good.
I play games all the time.
I'm just
Why
that
don't I
good,
have a
Jez.
100,000 game score? I don't get it.
I don't know because you're not playing the right games or you're not getting the achievements in those games. Yeah, like
I don't achievement hunt. Not gonna
I know you
lie.
don't, but I do. I haven't really done it much this year, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna kind of go through some of these games that I've been kind of in my backlog, and boom, sure enough, it was like, I mean, granted, most of these games weren't, what I would call good by any stretch of the imagination, and I don't even want to tell you the names of some of these because you're gonna make fun of me. So
Oh god. Barbie.
yeah, no Barbie game, no Barbie game. Come on, there's no Barbie game on the Xbox.
Is there not? I'm gonna check.
No, I'm not on Xbox One.
Are you
So
sure about this?
I'm positive there is no current gen Barbie game for the Xbox.
Barbie. Right, I'm typing it in. Let's see. You lie. Oh no, those are movies. There are Barbie movies?
Yeah, man,
Barbie,
Barbie. Yeah.
Barbie, a fairy secret. Barbie and the Secret Door. I bet you've watched these too.
No, I haven't watched
Barbie
those.
and her sisters in the Great Puppy Adventure.
I've played that game on the 360. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's £9. That's really
Yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
Woo.
So I was just I played Soma, which was a game I did a video for. Came out this past Friday,
I've got
and
that installed.
it's a cool game. It's very it's one of the better well written sci-fi games out there. The plot is tremendous. It's the best thing about the game. Unfortunately, some of the Outlast 2 mechanics or the alien isolation where there's a monster in the room that is constantly stalking you and you have to kind of complete objectives before moving on, and if they catch you, you die. That stuff is lame.
Oh, is it one of
Uh,
those walking simulator horror games
well,
where
I
you
don't
have
know
to
because it's 8 hours long. There's a lot of puzzle solving in it. It's not like a walking simulator that's over in an hour or two. I mean,
can you
yes, you
fight
do.
back? Is what I'm asking.
No, you cannot. But however,
Ugh.
the
I hate
developer
horror
put
games
out.
like that.
I know the developer put in a safe mode, which means the monsters are there, but they no longer can kill you.
What's the
So
point of that?
because the best part about the game is the narrative and the story, considering the monsters prevent you from getting that part, the best part of the game, they put it in there because that was what everybody said. Like, by the way, like the stealth sections with the monsters in your game suck. Get rid of it. So they decided to put this update in there. So, like I said, the best part of the game is the story, finding out what happened, like thinking about, because it's very, I mean, it's tropey sci-fi. I mean, you've seen it in other movies and stuff, but it's very philosophical. I don't know if you'd like it, because you don't get any you know,
I
there's
like
no
Layers
like
of Fear.
it's better than Layers of Fear.
Ooh.
It's like
Well, I've got
Observer.
it installed. I've got it installed. I'm gonna give it a go.
Yeah, give it a go.
On
It's just like a 7 hour game. It's it's pretty cool. And I played a whole bunch of other nonsense, like Mr. Pumpkin's Adventure and you know, stuff like that. But whatever. We shall
Mr.
not talk about.
Pumpkin's Adventure.
Shut up, Jazz. You didn't hear that, okay?
I want to hear about this game. What is this excellent pumpkin game you played? I want to know.
It was a point and click adventure game.
About pumpkins.
You play as Mr. Pumpkin. Yeah.
Ugh. Why do these games exist? Who
I
are
don't
they
know.
for? They're for literally achievement hunters. That's the only person who plays these.
Probably because they certainly went for kids, because some of the puzzles are way beyond a kid's understanding of some stuff.
Wow.
But yeah. I think that I played like Black and White Bushido. I played damn, what else did I play? Echoes of the Fray.
I haven't heard of any of these games.
I played
I've got, did you
Jump
ever
Step
play?
Step.
Did you ever play Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun?
I have it, but I have never played it. No.
So I installed that too. I think that looks cool. Shadow Tactics is like it's a top-down stealth game, tactical stealth game, which I thought looked pretty cool. So I'm gonna give that a go. I've also got Hand of Fate 2 installed. Gonna give that a go this week. I think I might actually review it. I haven't reviewed the game for a little while. Yeah, and I don't know. That's it now for this year. There's no more games coming out pretty much.
Well, no, we got PUBG Flippy Floppy next week.
All right, yeah, we got
you forgot
PUBG
about
Flippy
it.
Floppy.
PUBG Flippy Floppy coming out next week.
I forgot about it. I'll be honest, I forgot about it.
December 12th. So we are what, 6 days away to finally experience Battle Royale. Well,
the glorious 30 frames per second Battle Royale.
Yes. Are you excited to play 30 frames Battle Royale PUBG mode on the Xbox One X? Are you excited?
I'm not excited.
For game preview?
Nope, not excited. I have really low expectations. Really low.
Really
painfully low expectations for that game. They're
They're
marketing it like it's AAA. They're marketing it. They're selling it at retail, Rand. They're selling it at retail. They're marketing like it's AAA, and it's being built by an indie team and a Microsoft, put together team.
I thought it was being built by basically Microsoft themselves.
That people are going to be expecting polish, man. It ain't going to be polished.
No, I don't expect it to be polished because the main game isn't polished. And it's nominated for Game of the Year.
I'm worried, man.
Part of me expects this game not to work on Tuesday. Like when the servers go live, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I'm half expecting that too, which is kind of sad. So I'm going to reserve.
Uh-oh. Jazz just cut out. Yeah, part of me expects, when you go to play PUBG on Tuesday, that the servers won't be available, they won't be ready, they won't be up, and people are going to be sitting there being like, what is going on? Why is this a thing? I really hope they have the servers in working order for that game, because that would suck. Not only for the game itself, but for Microsoft and for the people that have been hyping this game up for quite some time now, to be able to go in there and want to play PUBG and then the servers just crash. So,
yep, you're completely right.
By the way, your mic was on mute, so
yeah, I don't know what happened there, but
I think the servers are Azure, hacky sack, but
yes, they are actually. They are Azure.
But
that doesn't mean the netcode is going to be finished.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's game preview, so anything can happen. And that, the culling came out in game preview, and it didn't work for a few days. There's been game preview games that come out and have issues, so to speak.
What if Rand, when you turn on PUBG for Xbox, it causes your Xbox to explode? What if?
Well, that would be something. So I turn on my X, and it explodes.
That could happen. Then.
I just would turn on my PlayStation then.
And play what?
I mean, I still have some games. I got to finish Horizon Zero Dawn. I got to play Nier Automata. I got to play Ratchet and Clank. I got to play Heavy Rain, Beyond Two Souls.
Sean!
What?
Oh, you haven't played that much of Heavy Rain then?
No, I have not played Heavy Rain yet.
Heavy Rain is terrible.
Maybe I would even if my X blew up, like you're saying it might. If my X just blew up, maybe I don't even have enough time to even play Bloodborne. Bloodborne
looks really cool. I've always wanted to give that a go, but it looks like one of those games that too hard for me. Get good and all that stuff.
I'm just not really a fan of this Souls genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jazz, same as people are saying, you need to take care of the chat. You need to swing your hammer.
Oh, okay. Let's go. Boom.
So better be careful. Oh, not necessarily him though.
Oh. Why? He was
I don't
moaning.
know. Better be careful with Jez, because Jez he'll swing his hammer. He don't care.
I ban first and ask questions later.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Heavy Rain round. Do you know much about that game?
I know nothing about Heavy Rain.
It's it's uh it's bad, man. It's
Is it?
yeah, I don't know why people hype David Cage or that dude, Quantic Dream that make those games. Heavy Rain was terrible. It was absolutely terrible.
Terrible. That's everybody tells me it's
Worst
awesome though.
writing, worst acting, boring gameplay. The only thing that Heavy Rain had going for it really was at the time, it looked like it had great facial animations and that sort of thing. The story was terrible. The voice acting was terrible. The writing was terrible. They're so pretentious, and they want to be like these artistic challenging games which deal with complex issues, man, and all this. But they just come off as cheesy. Yeah, it's like Enko put it right, man. David Cage is a bit of a hack, you know.
I mean, I never liked David Cage myself. It does come off as pretentious, but I thought everybody enjoyed Heavy Rain for what it was.
No, it's
No.
terrible.
Okay. Well, I thought Beyond Two
Awful game.
Souls was the terrible one.
I haven't played that, admittedly. I've only played um I mean, what is it called in America? It's called something else. It's called Fahrenheit 9. What's it called?
What, Fahrenheit
Uh,
450 or whatever, or 950 or whatever, the
I don't
Fahrenheit
know.
game.
Yeah, I mean that was his previous game, the Fahrenheit game.
Huh.
I actually thought that was okay to start with. And then about halfway through, it just went batshit insane. And I was just like, what was it? It's called oh man, I can't remember what it's called. Chat, help us out. What is it called? What is David Cage's first game called? It's called Fahrenheit something. Four
I mean,
five.
I've heard of Fahrenheit. I think there's another game, but I mean, I just wanted to try it one playthrough, see what it is. You know, I have other games to play, but that's what would
Indigo
happen if
Prophecy.
Indigo Prophecy. There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I have not played that one.
So that started off really good.
I did see. Speaking of David Cage, since I don't even know how we ended up on this topic, I did see that there are people that wanted to censor Detroit Become Human in the UK, I believe.
Yeah. See, that whole thing is just a load of bullshit because it was just a slow news day. So the right wing media was like, "Oh my God, think of the children," and the government likes to have distractions from how terrible it is in the UK. So they're like, "Oh my God, think of the children. We got to ban these games." And for like 5 minutes, everyone goes, "Oh my God, got to ban these games." And for 5 minutes, they forget how shit the government is in the UK. And then 5 minutes later, they go back to remembering how shit they are. I don't think that banned
I
Detroit.
mean, I thought it was funny. He's like, child abuse isn't a game. Get it out. It's like, I don't know. I'm not a fan of censorship,
Me
really.
neither.
Like, because you wouldn't, I mean, there's movies, there's other types of art that you wouldn't censor, but for some reasons, like it's in a video game, it's like, oh, censor this. It's like, come on, man. It's trying, I mean, I guess there's a story there to tell, but I don't know what it is. It's like, you can't have this in our game. It's like, yeah, you can. I don't know. I don't know. I think that people just wanted to complain about that one.
Yeah, it's just sad. I don't think it'll get banned in the UK. They haven't censored a game in the UK since for a million years.
If anything,
So
would just get like rated like mature, right, or 18 plus or whatever.
yeah, I mean that's what usually happens. And yeah, it is annoying. SpongeBob makes a good point that movies are considered art and video games not so much. It is annoying that um there's that hypocrisy there that it's okay for movies to do this, it's okay for books to do this, but it's not okay for video games to explore this just because it's interactive. And it's kind of like, well, a movie's interactive because I have to hit the play button. It's just the same fucking thing, man. So
Yeah.
whatever. Censorship is bad, basically.
Censorship is bad. But you know what wasn't bad? Destiny 2's Xbox One X's 4K HDR update. Look at that segue.
Um,
You like that one?
yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. You played it, and you even put on Twitter, "My eyes, oh my god, it's so good."
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Destiny's art. Like Destiny is almost worth playing just for the art, but it's also not worth playing just for the art because you can just look at a screenshot, I guess. But um, I was
Sponge
I
is saying
was
HDR is broken.
I I didn't feel like it was broken. But when I was playing, it's the DLC is called Curse of Cyrus. It's $20 and it adds about an hour of gameplay or something. So people are people are annoyed about that. But
Wait, did
like,
you just say an hour? Like literally an hour of gameplay?
well, some people have said that the story lasts about an hour and 45 minutes ish.
Okay,
For the
so
Curse
about
of
2 hours
Cyrus.
or so. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's like a new dungeon or something and new stuff to grind and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't really know that much about the extra gameplay stuff, but the story content lasts around 2 hours. I've heard, which isn't great. And there's a new open world area, so there's a whole bunch of like new grind stuff to do, but don't expect an epic, story stuff. But that's the thing, man. If you're still playing Destiny for the story, you're an idiot because Destiny has proven itself time and time again to not care about story. I don't even know what's going on in Destiny, man.
Nobody knows what's going on in Destiny.
I played the hell out of Destiny base game. I played the hell out of Destiny 2 so far. Um just because Roby likes playing it and we stream it. Um and I've got a maxed out character pretty much. I've done all the content except the raid. I can't do the raid because I haven't got any friends. So
Oh, Jazz, you need more friends. Instead of being the asshole that you are, you should go out there and be friendly with people. They could help you do the raid. Honestly, is the best part of Destiny by
yeah,
far.
I have heard that, but at the same time, if literally everything else in Destiny is bad and the raid is good, the whole game isn't worth playing just for the raid. Destiny 2 is just so bland. It's so boring. Like I just can't stand the game. But
See, I thought
the
Destiny was
artwork's
worth.
really good.
I think Destiny was worth playing for like 40, 50 hours. Like running through the story, leveling up your character. Because I think that's when Destiny's at its best, is when you're like constantly rewarded with loot, when you're constantly getting your character better, going through the story missions for the first time, gearing up for the raid and completing the raid. I think that's the best part of Destiny. The terrible parts of Destiny are afterwards, when you've run through all the content, when you've done the raid, when you have like a couple good weapons. It's like there's no point in to keep on playing the game again, you know. So here comes this DLC for $20, mind you. Keep in mind $20 that adds 2 hours of new reworked content. Because I hear most of it's not even really new, like a new planet,
Yeah,
some new raid activity.
the Vex have been slightly reskinned, and the
Yeah,
Harpies now look like fidget spinners. That's the most interesting thing for me.
but
That the Har-
interestingly enough, uh, anybody who wants to do, uh, I think when I was reading, it was like the Prestige raid and the Prestige Nightfall. If you want to do any of those, now you have to buy the DLC because they
yeah, I heard that too.
updated those to match the new light levels. So number one, if you are kind of just starting out in Destiny, you can't really do any of those or you can't do those period unless you buy the DLC, which is crap. And then for anybody like achievement hunting or trophy hunting, since you can't get those um, from the base game, now you're required to buy uh, the expansion. And I think you can buy this separately for $20. I'm pretty sure you can. I think the option was there yesterday. I have the season pass because the guy I game share with, like, this was like his one game he bought this year. Maybe his like second game. Like he bought like Destiny 2 with all the expansions. So I I have it. Am I going to play it anytime soon? No. You know, I have no interest. I don't even have an interest in going and loading it up to seeing what it looks like, Jazz. That's how little interest I have in Destiny 2 right now.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Now,
It's such a terrible, boring game, man.
so does this answer the question about whether resolution makes the game better? So now that Destiny 2 is in 4K, is the game even better than before?
I mean, it is pretty, but it's still really boring. So, no. The answer is no.
So resolution doesn't. What if they made an update to make it 60 frames though?
No, it'd still be boring.
It'd still be boring.
Yeah.
But Destiny's just a boring game. Put that on like a headline or something.
I think at the end of the day, Destiny's aimed at a certain type of gamer. You know, it's not a game that you really think about when you play. It's just sort of, it's so brain dead easy most of the time. Like the only slightly difficult parts, I presume, is the raid, and then maybe the Nightfall dungeon. But even that isn't particularly hard. So, you know, those are the only parts of the game that engage me in the slightest. The 90% rest of the game is just so easy. But I think it's designed that way. I think it's designed for people who just want something, you know, they're getting from work and they just want to shoot things.
Yeah, it's like Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Yeah, it's not.
You don't care about the story. You just jump in there and shoot stuff and talk to your buddies while you play. I mean,
yeah,
it's exactly the same thing.
That's what it's for, you know. And I think there's a place in the world for games like that. But I think like for, you know, core gamers like us, where we want something a little bit more engaging,
we just want a little bit more.
Yeah, Destiny represents a missed opportunity because it's like you've got this all this potential for like a truly great game with Destiny, and it's just never going to be realized because it's designed to be a casual snooze fest. So I think that's why people like me get frustrated with Destiny. Maybe unfairly, you know, maybe it's unfair to get frustrated with Destiny because maybe I'm just not the target audience.
Do you think it would have been better if they released the 4K update when the system launched instead of waiting till now?
I don't know. I mean, people had there was a lot of content to play with. I think the fact that Destiny didn't have a 4K update at launch probably helped games like Assassin's Creed Origins. Because Assassin's Creed Origins got a lot of attention purely because it was the best looking game on the X when it launched. I mean, Assassin's Creed Origins is still just, you know, orgasmic looking, you know. It's like an orgasm all over your TV. It's just amazingly gorgeous. And it still is one of the best looking X games on there. But so on that basis, it's probably a good thing that Destiny didn't hit 4K because it would have overshadowed games like that maybe a little bit. But I don't know. Destiny's
I mean, probably not. I don't know, because there would have been nothing to play in Destiny on November 7th anyways. I mean, I guess like now at least you have new content to run through.
Yeah.
They didn't add new achievements, which I expected. I don't know why they don't. Bungie has this aversion to new achievements, especially in these expansions. These first two,
I think.
Hmm?
Don't they have to pay to get more
achievements? Nah, they don't have to pay for them. They don't have to pay for them. Shout out to Rump Roastwitch with the super chat. Destiny is a carrot on a stick game, and that is exactly right. It's always about getting the next reward that is right in your face.
But the thing is, so is World of Warcraft. But I never felt World of Warcraft was boring. You know, I mean, some expansions got really boring, and I think that those were expansions where Blizzard weren't trying as hard. But at the minute, there's so much content in World of Warcraft. Every patch, every free patch in World of Warcraft is bigger than a Destiny expansion.
To be fair, it's
subscription based.
World of Warcraft is subscription based. You are paying $15 a month for it. If Bungie tried that, people would unsubscribe after the first month because you actually need to have monthly content, and Bungie can't do that. Bungie's proven they can't do that. So the model would fail because they're just not good enough, or they don't have enough team there to make the
It does,
content needed to do a subscription-based service.
it does make me wonder, though. Like, why is it only basically the only two successful subscription-based games right now are World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn. Those are like the only they're purely subscription based. Like Elder Scrolls Online has a subscription, and Star Wars: The Old Republic
Yeah, the Old
MMO has a
Republic.
subscription, but they also have a free to play mode where you can play the whole game for free. You just get access to less stuff. But World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy, they are 100%. They are 100% subscription based. I think like in World of Warcraft you can play to level 20 for free or something. But they are pretty much
Maybe
purely subscription based.
the reason
Why can't more games do that?
I think it's because the reason is, like we mentioned before, if you're doing a subscription-based service, $15, $20, you need to have content dropping every month minimum, right? Most devs, especially now in the 4K, like texture, like they just can't do that, right? And I think most developers have found that it's way easier to make a game, throw in microtransactions in a free-to-play model, and just kind of gate content. And like how they do on mobile. I think a lot of devs find that a little bit easier. I mean, look at like Rainbow Six Siege. The new DLC just came out. It's free to everybody, right? But I mean, you have to own the game, but like the DLC is free. You got to pay for it with in-game currency. And they celebrated its like 2-year anniversary, and it's at 25 million players, Jez. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Oh yeah, I did.
Just hit its 25 million players.
Yeah.
It's probably the biggest success story of the entire generation for a game that launched 2 years ago to little fanfare.
And it was garbage at launch.
And it was bad. And 2 years later, this is the example publishers use along with Overwatch for games as a service. And all they do is they update it.
Done really well.
Yeah. Because they've done like 3 or 4 or 5 free game weekends where you give you can let anybody play it. And because the game's so well, people get addicted. Then you can buy it for like $30. The DLC is free to everybody.
I was watching Matt Brown stream Rainbow Six Siege on our Mixer channel, and it does seem like a lot of fun, but it also seems like a lot of skill that I don't have.
It is. It's a lot of fun. You have to be skillful. And I got to say, there's no other game on console or PC really like it. Yes, it's a shooter, but it's a tactical shooter. And there's not many games like that out there. When you compare it to a game like Lawbreakers, a hero shooter that's fast paced, and it's like, those are a dime a dozen. But at least Rainbow was unique in that sense.
Yeah.
But like going back to your argument about why nobody can do subscriptions is because I think publishers have learned they can make more money by letting people play their game for free or a lower price and then selling them loot boxes and microtransactions. Well, they don't have to create like monthly content because that's probably the biggest thing, right?
I do wonder what the return on investment for World of Warcraft is, because they do every World of Warcraft player, and I think World of Warcraft is currently floating somewhere around 12 million players. Every World of Warcraft player. A lot of that's
China now.
Huh? A lot of that's China.
A lot of the player base of World of Warcraft is China now.
Oh yeah, I guess so. But it's like, but still, they're all subscribing, paying customers. So, and they're all giving money to Blizzard, and then Blizzard takes that money, pays devs to build content for the game, and like there's a big patch for WoW, maybe once every two to 3 months. Some of the patches are smaller, add a little bit of content. Some of them are much bigger, add full raid tiers and stuff like that. And so I do wonder, like, what's the return on investment there? Is that good return on investment versus the Destiny model, which is basically give gamers next to nothing and charge tons for it? And
that's the thing. We don't know if Destiny is successful though. We don't even. I mean, you would assume we know that World of Warcraft's successful, right? If it wasn't successful, they probably would have shut it down by now, right?
That's what Blizzard says. They said they'll keep making World of Warcraft as long as it's still profitable. So
Right.
and they said they've got plans for another 3 expansions.
But like we
Which
have
is
no
hilarious.
clue if Destiny is successful or not because we don't know how much they spent on making the game. We don't even know how much they've made like selling the game. It's kind of a tough thing there. You know what Destiny 2 really should have been? Should have just been an expansion for Destiny 1.
I
They should
agree.
never have called it 2. It should have just been like Destiny should have been World of Warcraft. It just should have been like you just log into Destiny and like there's all your stuff. Here's some new adventures, like I mean, I guess they probably wanted to like have a brand new game so they could sell you $60 worth of content again plus $100 for the expansion. They wanted to like sell you all that stuff again, but honestly,
Mm.
it should have just been Destiny. Like that is what you play, just similar to like World of Warcraft. Like you just like log in and there's all your stuff, but you know,
I've literally got about 300 days played on my Warlock and World of Warcraft.
that's I've never
300
played I've
days.
never played World of Warcraft. So
It's a great game. I love
I
it,
don't
man.
think I don't think it would be for me though, Jez.
It's time consuming. I don't really play it properly anymore, but all my greatest gaming experiences of my adult life have been World of Warcraft. Some of the dungeons in that game were just so incredible, so difficult. Like they take weeks and weeks of practice to kill things. Like 20 players coordinating over TeamSpeak and stuff like that. It's there was no game like it
Right.
before or
Hey,
after.
I wonder. We talked about Rainbow Six Siege, right, being probably the biggest success story of the gen,
I'm gonna download that right now, actually.
and we both were right. Destiny or Rainbow when it first came out wasn't very good. Didn't sell very well, and now here we are 2 years later, 25 million. Did it? I think over 2 million a day played or something like that. Do you think developers and publishers see Rainbow, see what happened with it, and think if they can do it, we can do it? You know what I mean?
Well, this is the thing, right? It almost feels like luck because Ubisoft haven't been able to turn around the Division. They haven't been able to turn around Wildlands or For Honor in the same way. I don't think.
Well, I mean, did they have to
So,
turn around Ghost Recon? There's really nothing to turn around in that game.
well, the thing is, they wanted that to be a service as well, didn't they? And especially the Division. And the Division is a example of how not to run a game as a service. They ignored the player base for
So
months.
you have an example from Ubisoft, same publisher, of how to run a games as a service and then how to not run one.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Also, yeah, For Honor as well.
the division is such a missed opportunity. Do you remember how excited people were when they announced that at E3? And was it E3? I can't remember. But they announced the division, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it looks amazing! It looks amazing!" Blah blah blah. And then when it came out, it was this awful, shallow game, like just so bad, so unbalanced, and the Dark Zone was just this just terrible experience of ganking and unfair gameplay. It's like, how did they ever think this was a good idea?
I don't know, but I enjoyed my first playthrough of the Division though. Maybe that's what it is for these games. Like I play through the story, you level your character up because you're always getting stuff when you play, and then you hit that wall. Okay, I've done all the story missions. Now it's like the end game stuff, and the end game stuff in these games are absolutely horrible. So it's like I have no reason to play this anymore outside of
Well,
achievements and things
that's
like
the thing.
that.
When I say it was bad, I'm mainly talking about the end game stuff because it
Right.
was like they had all these dungeons, but like only like 4 of the dungeons that you could do like at the end game tier. So it's like well, there was just nothing to do. And then I remember they came out with the first incursion, which incursions basically like raids, and it was just one boss, a tank in a garage, and it wasn't even a tank; it was like a armored patrol vehicle in a garage.
Garage. What's a garage?
Uh, I don't know,
A garage?
a garage, yeah, whatever. Sorry, being
Cool. Yes, what? A
uh,
garage? Huh.
yeah, it was like it was just a tank thing in a shop or whatever, and
Okay.
um and and it was broken. You know, to beat it, you had to like hide in a trench and exploit the AI to kill it because it was overtuned, and it was just awful. I was just like, oh my god! And I think when I did that incursion, that's when I knew Ubisoft, massive, didn't know how to run a game as a service, and I was just done with Destiny, the Division since then.
Yes, but we will be getting a Division 2 though, so
Will be?
I think so. I'm pretty sure we will. The
Mm.
question is what are they going to do with it? But I mean, I think the game sold well enough, and it does have some fans. I don't. I mean, who knows if the second one will sell as well? But you know, I mean, at least Ubisoft try. I mean, they just released a new update. Well, yesterday, and it had a whole bunch of free stuff. Some people say it adds more than Destiny 2's update, which is paid. You know, even Ghost Recon, I think they added 3 DLCs plus they added multiplayer for free. You know, the
PvP, yeah.
4v4.
I mean, it's not like
Um,
they're not trying, you know.
yeah,
So
For Honor does the season stuff. Like, you know, there's a game, For Honor, that everybody kind of really enjoyed at the beginning because it was different. It was very unique. And then like it just was like they didn't test it because like you know the armor you get has like uh attributes that makes your character better in certain modes, but they didn't really test it out. And then eventually like stuff was just broken, and then like people just stopped playing the game.
yeah, they don't balance games very well either. Um, Ubisoft. I mean, the For Honor was completely imbalanced, and there were things in that game that was so broken. And there was this notorious situation where they had like some esports tournament for Honor, and the guy who won used exploited a bug to win the tournament, and and the lead developer was like, "You won't be able to do that tactic next time." Ha ha ha. But it's like, wow, you basically letting them win on an exploit because you couldn't be bothered to properly fix your game or something. It was such a mess. But like, I was really hyped for Honor for the same reason. Like, it looked unique, it looked different, blah blah blah, and like it was unplayable. I was getting disconnected in the single player mode.
Yeah,
Uh,
I didn't really get to play much of it because I was DOA was dragging me through Sniper Elite 4 because they came out the same day. So like, oh, while like all my buddies are playing For Honor, here's DOA dragging me through. Oh no, we need to do Sniper Elite 4 on the hardest difficulty. It's like, no, I want to play For Honor. So I didn't really get to play much of For Honor. I mean, I played,
oh, too
you
loud.
know, I didn't get to play the single player, but anyways, we got the Game Awards coming up tomorrow, right, Jez?
Yeah, in the middle of the night.
In the
So
middle of the
I
night.
won't be watching it.
Um, you know, Jeff is really teasing a lot of stuff. You know, we
He
got
is.
Kojima's going to be there. You got Guillermo del Toro, Norman Reedus. I'm assuming we're going to get something from Death Stranding again.
Another CGI, another
Uh,
CGI trailer that doesn't show how the game works or
I mean,
what
maybe
the
we'll get
hell
a
it's
gameplay
about.
trailer this time. Who knows? Probably not though, because I have a feeling that game is still a couple years away. Uh, but I think Sony and Nintendo are going to have a big presence there. Is Microsoft going to have a big presence at the show?
Hmm.
I don't like the way you just said that.
I don't know, man. It's I'm kind of in the dark about what their plans are. I know that Xbox is going to be there, and I know they do have some announcements here and there, but I don't know if it's worth getting hopes up. You know?
So don't get your hopes up, is what you're telling people. Okay. I know Sea of Thieves has a new trailer they're going to show. People are speculating it's going to be the release date finally for the game because it's supposed to launch sometime next year. But uh, I don't know. I'm kind of one to say I don't think we'll get a release date out of Sea of Thieves next year or at this event. So I know some people are like, yeah, finally release date, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I think we'll get a cool trailer or something, but I don't think we'll get a release date. And
Yeah.
did you see the Portal thing?
Now this is funny because I had this under embargo a week ago, and I saw these rumors that were like, "Oh, there's going to be a Portal announcement at the Game Awards," and I was like, "Yeah." So, I mean, do you know what it is?
Yeah, I had the same thing a week ago too.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Someone
I
tweeted
don't know
out.
if I'm still under embargo, but I don't really care if I am. But
Someone tweeted that out, right? And it was like, I hear from an industry buddy that there's something Portal related happening at the Game Awards, right? And people are like, Portal, what? No way, love Portal. People are like, they're going crazy in like the Reset Era threads on Twitter discussing what it possibly could be. What could it be? Is Portal 3? Oh my god. Right? And Jazz, take it away. What actually is the Portal thing they're talking about?
it's basically a standalone expansion for Bridge Constructor.
Nobody guessed this.
A mobile game where you build bridges, and it's like a physics-based puzzle game where you build bridges and guide trucks across. But now there's a special portal mode. So yeah, there's
Yeah. So here's the thing. People think Valve is the same Valve that made Portal 2 and Portal and Half-Lives. Those people that made your favorite games from those years, they're gone from that company. The Valve that currently exists is not the same Valve that once was.
yeah, that was
So
dead. I mean, well, for games, making games anyway.
yeah, and all they care about is, curating Steam, making hats for Dota and Team Fortress, and I mean that's all they care about. They don't care about making like. Look, would you want to make a game? Because like they're sitting on, they own them for all intents and purposes, a monopoly on PC gaming, right? If you want to play on PC, you go to Steam, right?
Yeah,
Every game that goes there.
Monopoly.
Yeah, so they're making bank on basically being they're basically what Microsoft wants to be. They don't have to make a game, and they're breaking in billions of dollars because they have the storefront that they created. Yep. They're essentially what Microsoft wants to be, kind of with the Xbox and Windows 10. You just collect money for other people's hard work. Well, I mean, you also work because you also made the storefront, but Valve, like, they don't need to make another game. And I don't think people realize this. They're not going to make a Left 4 Dead. They're not going to make another Half-Life. They're not going to make Portal because it's not worth it for them.
Yeah, it's a lot of the creative people that were at Valve have left this year, and like Mark Laidlaw left. He was the writer for Half-Life, and a bunch of other people have left Valve. Like people who want actually
Laidlaw. Didn't he just leave EA? I thought he left EA.
Oh, that was Mike Laidlaw.
Oh, I just heard the last name.
Laidlaw. Yeah, Mark Laidlaw left Valve, and Mike Laidlaw left EA. So that's another I mean, we could talk about that a bit, but EA has had like
terrible year.
BioWare has had a massive exodus of high level staff. So like,
what do you attribute to that? Is it because Mass Effect is put on ice? Is it because everything's now Anthem, or else? Or what do you think is the reason behind that? Are they slowing down production on the Old Republic?
I think the truth about BioWare is EA have, I kind of feel like EA are bleeding it dry, and I think a lot of the people who loved working at BioWare, and over the years, there's been a lot of people leave, like Chris Wynn left, Mass Effect team, and Casey Hudson left and then came back. I guess EA made him an offer he couldn't refuse. Mike Laidlaw left, and Mike was in charge of the whole Dragon Age franchise, pretty much.
So does that speak badly about Dragon Age since he left? I know they said that there is another one in production, but he left suddenly. Does that mean maybe EA canceled the next Dragon Age? And he was just like, I'm done?
I highly doubt they would cancel something that's probably really far along in development. And if they had,
Star Wars,
we would have heard about it. Well, I guess so, but I think we would have heard about it if they cancelled the new Dragon Age. But I kind of almost feel like EA is becoming the next Konami, where they're going to fall back on things that work really well for them, like FIFA and Battlefield. I wouldn't be surprised if EA just became a mobile company and EA Sports company in the future. I don't think EA want to make these big, creative, risky games anymore. The fact that they just completely crapped out Mass Effect Andromeda and didn't really bother with making it polished, and the way they've treated the Star Wars license is
Well,
sickening. You know,
hold
as a
on. I'm playing devil's advocate here for a single second. I understand what EA did in the case of Mass Effect Andromeda, right? Like I get it. You think the name Mass Effect is going to sell that to gamers, right? So you have a team who's really not that experienced making games. You have them make Mass Effect Andromeda because the name alone is going to sell that. And then you put the main BioWare team on a new IP, something for this generation, something that's going to take you for the next 10 years, similar to how Mass Effect did. So I understand it from that point. If you're looking at it from like, you know, we want to create something new, but then also we want to have, our cake and eat it too. So we're going to still do Mass Effect. It just kind of blew up in their faces because the project went way too long, went over budget. There's so many things wrong with it, but like I get it, or at least from the thing is like, well, let's have the real BioWare make something new, right? Instead of just constantly make Mass Effect again.
Well, the thing is, like, I think um, I think BioWare pitched Anthem. I don't think EA was like, we want you to stop making Mass Effect, because I think I think in a perfect world it'd be BioWare Edmonton who made Mass Effect Andromeda, and it wouldn't be a pile of garbage like it was. So I think what's more likely is that BioWare Edmonton they wanted to make something new, and they probably pitched Anthem as a Destiny killer, and EA were probably rubbing their hands together and going, "Ooh, Destiny
Ooh,
killer, that
Destiny,
sounds good."
yeah.
Yeah,
Look at all the money we're gonna get from all those loot crates
yeah.
and
But you have to remember,
boxes.
during Anthem's development, EA got a new CEO.
That is true, yeah.
Peter
Andrew.
Moore left to run Liverpool Football Club,
Well, he wasn't CEO though.
wasn't he?
Peter Moore just ran EA Sports. Andrew
All right.
Wilson's been the CEO since John Riccatello left.
Oh, okay. Am I getting them mixed up? I
You
don't know.
are. You're getting a little mixed
But
up.
in any case, they got a new CEO. So and this new CEO seems to be well, even so, Peter Moore was a bit of a Peter Moore acknowledged how crappy EA had treated fans and stuff like that. And I think that's why I remembered Peter Moore specifically, because he wanted EA to have a more positive perception with gamers. And now that he's gone, obviously he might have been pushing for an EA to be a bit less shit. But he's gone now. And the current EA seems completely unconcerned with being perceived as being shit. They don't care. So they are happy shipping FIFA every year to gamers who aren't really connected to the wider conversation and the wider community, who are happy to buy FIFA year in year out and spend tens of thousands of dollars on FIFA Ultimate Team. That's where EA wants to be, really. They want to be in FIFA Ultimate Team. They don't care about making these landmark RPGs anymore because they're big and risky. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthem is complete fail. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if EA's nickel and diming that game because they don't want the risk. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think EA is heavily invested in Anthem, and I think they're going to try to do everything they can to make that game a success. Because
I
if it's
don't
not a
know. I don't
success,
believe it.
I honestly think BioWare is done. They'll be the next studio canceled.
I don't. That's the thing, though. I don't think EA care if Bioware are done. I think EA would rather cut their losses. I don't think EA care if Anthem is a big game because I don't think EA cares about making big landmark RPGs anymore. I think they care about
Yeah, but who
quick
says that? Who says
bucks
if Anthem's
shooters.
an RPG though?
Me, because it is.
Well, it's not. It's going to be a third-person shooter, Destiny.
Yeah, Destiny's an RPG.
You know, but it is why because you can take a node and update it because you get one skill point and you're on this like tree and you can like press it so you update. It is basically light art. Destiny 2 is a loot shooter.
Yeah,
I would not classify that as an RPG in any way, shape, or form.
I class that as an RPG because it's that the thing that keeps you playing and the thing that keeps people engaged is the progression of your character, which is an RPG thing.
No, the people that keep playing is for the loot.
Yeah, progressing your character. That's RPG thing.
No, look, when I think RPG, maybe chat, correct me if I'm wrong. I think RPG. I think Witcher. I think Final Fantasy. I think games like that. Destiny 2 to me is nowhere. It's like RPG in name. It's just like, yeah, it's an RPG because you get a skill point and you use that skill point and get something. Like it's not a true RPG.
Wolfenstein's shooter. There's no loot. But Destiny is an RPG. It's an RPG shooter because there's loot, and that's the progression layer. The progression layer keeps you hooked in, and that the Anthem will be an RPG because it'll have loot that'll keep you hooked in.
Right, and they'll sell that loot to you in microtransactions and loot boxes.
You play a role. You customize your character. You dress up your digital doll. That's role playing, man. You play a role.
You love dressing up your digital dolls, though.
I love it, man. I fucking love Dead Orbit shaders, man.
Yeah, you love like Overwatch and stuff. I mean,
see, that's the thing.
You love it.
I'm gonna install Overwatch right now. You've said that. I haven't installed Overwatch on this yet.
Isn't Overwatch supposed to be getting an X? I think so, or an X update at some point.
Yeah, that was my exclusive, man. That was my exclusive.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I emailed Blizzard. I was like, "Yo, where's my X update?" And they were like, "Oh, here's an official statement from us." I was like, "Oh my god, they just gave me an exclusive." So
you should write that to every studio out there. So where's my X update? You should email CDR Project Red. And be like, yo, when's the Witcher 3 update coming?
I did. They didn't reply. I literally emailed every dev, and Blizzard's the only one that replied. I love you, Blizzard. I love you.
He shows you he loves you by buying those loot boxes. He needs those outfits for his husbandos. Who's your husbando in that game?
Oh, it's all about McCree, man.
Yeah, I figured.
Assless chaps. What?
What was your question? What was your question?
I was gonna say, here's a question. So, favorite publishers right now, right? Who are your favorite publishers right now, and who are your most hated publishers right now?
Well, I mean, most hated. I mean, EA got to be up there. Like they're pretty bad. I like Bethesda a lot. Because Bethesda still sticks to the single player orientated stuff. I like a lot of Bethesda's games, so I'm going to say they're one I really like, and one I don't really like is EA. Ubisoft is a mix for me. Like sometimes I hate them for what they've done to like open world games and things like that, but then sometimes like they do put out a lot of content. Like EA is like a sports factory. You got your Maddens, your FIFAs, your NHLs, and it's like half the stuff they make I don't care about. Whereas Ubisoft at least they make video games. Like they you Ghost Recon, For Honor, Rainbow Six, Division. They try Assassin's Creed. It's just that, man, some of their open world stuff is just so formulaic now, especially since, like me, like I played a lot of open world games. It's hard to get into. So I'm like half and half on that. Yeah, what else we got? Who are else the big publishers? THQ Nordic. They haven't really put out much this gen. Nintendo, obviously I haven't played Nintendo games, so it's like, what am I going to say about that? Sony's... The thing about Sony is like the only Sony published game that I played that came out this gen is Naughty Dog or Uncharted 4, which was amazing. So I haven't played... No, Until Dawn was pretty awesome too. And actually so was Order 1886. So yeah, you know what? I think Sony publishes some cool stuff, and they have a lot of cool looking games next year: God of War, Spider-Man, Detroit Become Human. You
How
know,
much did
like
Sony pay you to say that?
Sony has paid me nothing.
All right.
Why? I mean, does Spider-Man not interest you at all, Chaz? Because Spider-Man sure as
No,
hell looks cool to me.
I don't like Spider-Man. He's
Okay,
too spidery.
what about God of War?
God of War looks interesting
Yeah,
because you can rip people's heads off.
I figured you would like that. I figured you would like
I remember
that.
when I remember which God of War was it? I can't remember which one it was, but I remember when the British tabloid press were really upset about God of War because you could rip in like the first sequence, you rip some dude's head off from his like lower jaw. I can't remember which God of War it is, but I remember the tabloid press were so freaked out about that.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, it was like, yeah, that is awesome. So I'm down for God of War.
And then
God
what
of
else
War
we
probably
got?
make me pick up a PlayStation.
What other publishers we got, Jez? Microsoft. Oh boy. Um, Microsoft
You
of
know, bad
2017
Microsoft?
publishing not very good.
No,
Uh,
don't like
no.
Cuphead.
Cuphead's an ID at Xbox game, so
Eh, it's one of
Cuphead
those
is not
gray
published by
area games.
Microsoft. I don't. It doesn't matter. Cuphead was published by self-published. It is self-published by Studio MDHR.
Yeah, but Microsoft
Yeah,
handled the marketing.
it doesn't matter if that wasn't a Microsoft published game. They may have had and ran the marketing for that game. They did not publish it. So, if we're sticking to white lines here, like that game was self-published. I mean, we're talking Halo Wars 2 and Forza 7. I mean, I don't know, whatever. I mean,
And Super Lucky's Tale.
yeah, Super Lucky's Tale, which I enjoyed. I don't know, man. Like I think they did better earlier in the gen, to be honest with you. And the longer they go on, I think the worse they've gotten.
So you're saying you want Don Matrick back?
No, because if Don Matrick was still here, Xbox wouldn't exist.
Really? Do you think it's that? Do you think Donnie was that bad?
Yes.
Oh.
I've said this before. Don Matrick is a front runner. The reason he did well and the Xbox did well was because it was already in the lead. He came into a situation that was already built, and he just ran with it. He cut deals because they were the market leader. He could cut all the deals he wanted, and it was successful. And then once he got a taste of being behind, boom, he was gone. Because he doesn't work well from behind. He's a front runner. So when like Xbox needed to bail out the water from the ship, Don Matrick's like, yo, I'm out. And he jumped off the ship with his life, $1 million life preserver, and was like, I'm gone. You guys take care of this mess. I didn't sign up for this mess. He signed up to run a company that was number one. He didn't sign up to run a company that was number three. And I mean, look, Microsoft published like Rise, Quantum Break, Sunset Overdrive, a whole bunch of stuff. Just, I look forward to all those games, and I played them all. It's just this last year was just, I don't know. I've talked about it too much. It's just not very good.
I am not super impressed with Microsoft this year, but times will change, man.
They've got
a lot to make up for next year.
Yeah, and Sony. If you're just talking about years, Sony published Horizon Zero Dawn and Knack 2 and Gran Turismo Sport. So, they also only published 3 games. But on that flip side, they also had a lot of other highly rated third-party de facto exclusives. So, seems a little bit
exclusives.
Yeah, like Persona 5 not on Xbox, and it was like what, a 95 on Metacritic.
Yeah.
Nier Automata not on Xbox, even though it's a Square Enix game. What is that, like a 90 on Metacritic? Not an Xbox. Neo, a game nobody thought was going to be good. Was that like, I know that's published in the West by Sony, but still like Tecmo game. But either way, I think Microsoft will have a better year next year. So
the bar's not exactly high.
No. You're right. The bar is not high whatsoever, but still.
I
It's just
uh,
a, it's just
I
amazing
don't know
because at
what
one
kinds of. Sorry, go on.
at one point I really did like EA as a publisher. You know,
Yeah, so did I. That's the thing though. Nobody wants to hate EA. They want them to do good, and they want EA to do good stuff because EA owns so many IP that people love. Nobody wants to hate EA, but EA just keep doing things that make it hard to not hate them. So EA could easily turn it around by like properly funding games, properly funding games, that they own, and having like more realistic expectations for time limits and deadlines and stuff like that. I mean, a lot of people speculated that the reason Andromeda was rushed out the door was because EA wanted to slip it into its financials for the quarter. So if EA had prioritized gamers over shareholders for that quarter, Mass Effect Andromeda, maybe they could have delayed that and turned it into a better game. But
yeah.
they didn't. They prioritized getting a quick buck over gamers, and they keep doing that. So because they keep doing that, people hate them, and rightfully so. So what are you gonna do, man?
I don't know. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Rufo Estrada has put a key in chat. Just because Jez is the best. Bless him.
Very nice of him. Very nice.
Thanks,
Thank
pal.
you.
We love
Thank you.
you. We love you.
PSX is this weekend, Jez.
Yeah, that should be interesting. A lot
You
of people,
think?
a lot of people get upset about the console war. They're always like saying Microsoft should do something to respond to that.
I mean, well, I mean, there's nothing to do with the console. Or I would love to have an Xbox experience. That'd be cool. I mean, I
That's the
guess you
thing.
could.
It's like,
I guess you could
what is
argue
there?
FanFest is that to a certain degree.
Yeah, I
I don't
guess
know.
so. But the thing is, Sony announced new stuff at PSX, right?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes they do. I mean, last year's PSX was really good. The year before that was pretty bad. So this year, who knows? But I mean, I don't know. I look at PSX as more like a celebration PlayStation has with its fans. Because it's not just the press conference. There's also a whole weekend of panels and events and stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. Like, even if like Microsoft didn't have a press conference, I think like a weekend Saturday Sunday Xbox experience where like, if they have it somewhere and say like Anaheim or where they have PSX, where like Xbox fans could all fly in and just kind of like have Xbox stuff. I think that'd be cool. You know, let me ask you this: do you consider yourself an Xbox fan or press?
That's a good question. I don't know. It's starting to change over time. When I first started doing this, I considered myself 100% Xbox fan. I only wanted to evangelize the platform, blah blah blah. But as time goes on, I feel that disconnect happening, where all I want to do is, you know, highlight the things that are going wrong, and highlight the things that are going right. So I think over time I am sort of becoming as cynical. I understand now how people become cynical in this job. So I think I am becoming that sort of press sort of type now. What
Hmm.
about you, Rand? Because technically you cover news now, so maybe you're press.
Am I press?
Yeah, you're right. You commentate on the news. That makes you press.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just
You're a
Rand.
pundit. You're a pundit,
I'm
right?
just Rand. You
No, you're
know.
press. You're press now.
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a weird distinct. I don't consider myself press. I make videos that I find interesting. Sure, some of them are about news that I give my opinion on. I review games and things like that. But you know,
You're
and
press.
I do get the
Randall
occasional like
Press.
you're at Randall Press. I don't know.
That should be your new name, Randall Press.
Rand L Press. But anyways, PSX. Um, I'm looking forward to watching it. Can't wait to see what they're going to show. I have a feeling we're going to get release dates for all of Sony's games that are scheduled for early 2018. God of War one kind of leaked on the North American store as well as the Chilean store. It had a March 22nd date. I don't know if you saw this, Jez. So God of War comes out March 22nd. No surprise. Every single God of War ever, except for one, has come out in March. So it was always the good bet that a God of War game, this God of War, will come out in March. The interesting thing here is the 22nd is a Thursday. And as you know, games don't really release on Thursdays. However, March 22nd, 2005 was the first anniversary, or the anniversary. That's when the first game came out. So maybe they're going for the anniversary angle there, 13 years later. And then, of course, since Kratos is going into Norse mythology and Thor is a Norse god, Thursday is also, Thursday is Thor's Day. I mean, Thursday is literally named after Thor. So Thor's Day coming out on the anniversary of the first game. I have a feeling that date is true,
Plus, it's a good gimmick. I like that.
Yeah. So I think I also think you're gonna release date for Spider-Man. I think Spider-Man comes out in June, like around June, sometime around there. I think I'm not sure when they release Detroit Become Human. I don't know. I'm assuming we'd get a release date for that, but I'm kind of like, if you think God of War is March and Spider-Man is June, May is probably Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not really sure when. Maybe Detroit Become Human comes out in September or something. I know a lot of other people also seem to think like Days Gone will be coming out next year.
Sony are going to have a really good year and really strong. I mean, we're saying like Xbox will have a strong year next year. Sony's going to have a really strong year next year.
Yeah, I mean, and if Days Gone can come out next year, although I have a feeling that's a 2019 game, I mean, they would have 4 games plus whatever other exclusives they would have from the Japanese side of stuff. And I mean, it sounds like, Sony and Xbox are going to have really good, good years next year. I mean, Sea of Thieves for Xbox, State of Decay 2 for Xbox, Crackdown 3, not mentioning like, Forza Horizon 4 or whatever. Plus Sony's games, plus whatever EA, Ubisoft, Bethesda. No, next year has a chance, and plus I'm forgetting Nintendo, of course. Nintendo probably is gonna that new Metroid game, probably a new Smash Brothers game.
Aren't they announcing they're doing a Switch Pokemon game? Dude, I'll pick up a Switch for that.
Oh yeah, that's right, the Pokemon game.
It's a mainline Pokemon game too for the Switch.
Sir Galahad says they will need to keep Days Gone as far away from Last of Us 2 as possible, and I agree with that. But we just don't know how far away Last of Us 2 is. Like, obviously, I don't think Days Gone is coming out in January or February. Otherwise, we probably already know. And if March is God of War, which I firmly believe, and Red Dead's May, so you're not going to release it in March or you're not going to release it in May. If June's Spider-Man, and you already have Detroit Become Human, I honestly don't think Sony needs Days Gone to come out at any point in time next year because, from October to December, you essentially have all the third-party games that come out. Why not release Days Gone in the beginning of, March next year or February of 2019? It would give you a title at the beginning of the year, because if Last of Us 2 comes out 2019, that'd probably be more around like, June or like the first game did. Or who knows? I mean, maybe Last of Us 2 isn't a 2019 game. Maybe it's a 2020 game. I mean, I don't know. I don't really think Days Gone has to come out next year. Because I think Sony already has a lot of games, of course, assuming none of them get delayed or anything. But I'm excited to watch it. I like watching these things. Hopefully there's some new stuff there they show, because I mean, I've seen enough of God of War as it is. Like, I don't need to be sold on God of War anymore. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would hopefully the conference isn't just like the Paris week and E3 done again. And it was just like, but now with release dates, you know what I mean? Like, hey, we're going to show all these trailers, but
Sony's been catching a bit of criticism for basically showing the same thing over and over again on all their shows.
True,
Even
true.
from like not even just from Xbox fanboys. There's been like mainstream criticism of that, which is you don't see that very often.
No, I mean, but they have. I mean, the E3 show and the Paris Games show were very similar. They showed very similar stuff.
Mm.
Uh, you know, PSX is gonna show very similar stuff. They're gonna show God of War. They're gonna show probably Detroit Become Human and Spider-Man again and Ghost of Tsushima gameplay, maybe more Last of Us 2 stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just interested in seeing getting some release dates for these games next year, so we can kind of put things together. Because also, when Sony slots in their games, like God of War is like March, and if you figure Red Dead's May, hey, April's kind of open there for an Xbox game to come out. Crackdown or State of Decay or Sea of Thieves. Maybe with looking at those release dates, you'd be like, hey, maybe Xbox is going to release a game in April.
Yeah. What do you think
maybe
they'll
not.
release? What does Crackdown? So that's the thing. State of Decay, Crackdown, Sea of Thieves. Also, they all have a projected similar launch window of
Yeah,
spring.
they're all early 2018 or first half 2018.
So which are they going to launch when? That's a good thing to think about.
Like which games are going to launch when? It's very
Yeah.
interesting. Um, I'm going to say here. I've said this before. I've said it again. Right. Um, I know Microsoft says all three of their games will be out before E3 next year. I don't think so.
Did they say that?
Yeah, all of those are scheduled for early 2018. All three of them.
Did they actually say before E3?
Well, what's early 2018? Early 2018 is, I mean, the first 6 months. I mean, they said the first half.
I would be amazed if that happens. I would be mind blown because that'll leave them with not really anything for fall, wouldn't it? I would think that at least one of those would be delayed till the fall or at least the summer. That sort of record time slot they use, the August time
Right,
slot.
which is why I think two of them will release before E3, and one of them will come, like you said, September-ish. Then you'll have your Forza Horizon 4 October, and that's it.
Yeah. Crackdown 3 will not be cancelled. I keep hearing over and over again how that game is pretty much done.
People want Crackdown 3 to be canceled, right?
I don't know why.
Well, because a lot of people so people can laugh at Xbox fans. Haha, another one of your games got canceled. Like, there's nothing shown of the game to make it, people assume to be canceled. They've talked about it even again, during the Extra Life stream. They're not canceling Crackdown 3. It's going to come out.
Definitely not canceled.
People just want more negative news to come out and laugh about it, Xbox fans. So like, oh, Crackdown 3 is in trouble.
Yeah, one of my biggest articles ever was Scalebound is cancelled. People love the negativity, man. They love it.
I know. Do you remember when I told you Crackdown was canceled and you didn't believe me? Or Scalebound was canceled and you didn't believe me?
Yes, Rand. Yes, I remember.
I'm going to bring this up every single time because I'm sure there's some people listening to this that didn't know about that.
Well, you played Barbie games.
Yeah. So my opinion's invalid then, huh?
Yes. That's exactly.
So let's go over this one time again. I got really concerned a year ago in January, because nobody was talking about Scalebound, not even the devs, not Microsoft. They had that press release, and it was just like, where the fuck is Scalebound? And I went to you, and I went to a couple other people. I'm like, Jez, read this press release again and tell me what you think. And what was the first thing you said? I still remember this.
I can't
you said, where's Scalebound? And I was like, exactly. Where is Scalebound? Because at that point in time, all the Twitter accounts for all the other games were still active, very active, and implying that they were coming out this year. This would have been this year, which is funny because Crackdown and State of Decay were like, yeah, we're coming out this year, and they got delayed. But no mention of Scalebound Twitter inactive, all that stuff. And I'm like, Jazz, I have a feeling it's canceled, man. My source, who I trust 100%, told me that he had heard very, 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 very bad things about Scalebound. I told Jez that. I'm like, I have somebody telling me that something went wrong with the game. And Jez is like, no, no, don't believe him, Rand. It's not true. And his words were, they'll never cancel Scalebound. It's too big.
Well, the thing is, like, I talked to people at Microsoft about this, and they were like, you know, they always impressed me how much of a tough decision it was. Because the reason I didn't think they would cancel it was because of the this whole narrative that exists right now. The narrative that Microsoft can't deliver on the games it announces. Microsoft knew that would happen. You know, they knew everyone Microsoft knew that there'd be podcasts like this one talking about how Microsoft can't deliver on its promises now. They knew that would happen. And despite that, they still cancelled it because the game was in such a state. That's how much of a state it must have been in for them to cancel it, because they knew what everyone was going to say about Microsoft afterwards. So
yeah, it was just one of those things where it was like, I think the game's canceled, and you were like, no way. And then
I couldn't believe it. I could not.
And then
believe
you asked around, and you were like, I think something's up. And then sure enough, like you got the scoop from Microsoft that it was canceled, and it was just
that
like,
was so weird, you know. They only told me an IGN.
Yeah, and I was gonna run a video the week prior. Like, I literally was gonna run a video the week prior. I'm like, I think Scalebound's been canceled, and I was gonna go through all my arguments and stuff. I had a couple friends call me Alex Jones, right?
Alex Jones.
Yeah, like Alex Jones. Like, I have the tinfoil hat on. I'm like, guys, do you not see what's going on here? It's canceled, right? And then, you know, whatever. I was talked out of making the video, and then it got canceled. And then it was just like, oh my God. You know?
What do you want? Do you want a pat on the back?
Just believe me when I tell you these things, Jazz. God.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. But I don't think, I think Crackdown, I'm not saying that Crackdown will be good when it comes out. It'll come out. I'm
pretty confident in Crackdown. I think people just need to have realistic expectations about it. It's not going to be a Ubisoft open world. It's not going to be a huge Ubisoft open world. It's going to be brainless fun for four friends, kind of like, you know, Destiny and Ghost Recon Wildlands.
I'm just saying, the game's going to come out. The game's going to come out. It's going to come out. It may or may not be good. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be fun. I'm glad it kind of got delayed. I want the game to release in one package, the single player, the co-op, and the multiplayer, because there was rumors that, you know, it wasn't going to release in one package. Yeah. So hopefully, you know, here's the thing. It's like when you pick like which two games are going to launch before E3 and which one gets delayed, I think the one that gets delayed is Crackdown.
Again?
Right? I think so. Like if I'm Microsoft, I'm launching Sea of Thieves in April. I'm launching maybe, I don't know, State of Decay in June, and I'm launching Crackdown in September. Like,
the thing is, but the thing is, didn't they say Crackdown would launch early 2018?
They said also Sea of Thieves was going to come out in 20. I mean, I don't know. Things happen, man. I would be totally fine with Crackdown being delayed again, because I want that game to be as good as it can be. But at the same time, I know that people would be psychotically pissed about it. I don't think Microsoft can afford to do that, because they'll take all the hype out of it. I think Destiny, the Division suffered from that a bit as well, because the Division got delayed a couple of times, and that sort of took the hype out of it. Well, so did Cuphead. I remember last year people were saying, I'm not excited for Cuphead anymore because it's been 4 years or whatever.
That's true.
And then it came out and people loved it. It got rave reviews. It sold over 1 million, and then it sold over 1 million just on PC. So who knows what the real numbers are at? I think it'll be fine. I mean, I think Cuphead shows like it doesn't really matter. You put out a good game out in a great, you know, release timing schedule, and it's going to sell. I don't know. Maybe it's because I've never seen Microsoft release 3 games in the beginning of a year, and I don't even know if they've released 2. So when they say 3 of their games are scheduled for early 2018, I just kind of think like, I don't see that happening. You know,
That's true.
I just don't see it. You think Sea of Thieves is the one that's gonna get moved towards the end of the year, right?
I I don't know now because I've got this feeling that Sea of Thieves is going to have this sort of open development thing going for it, where they're going to release it in early access and develop it with the community. I think that might be how their playoff. Uh, that might be how their playoffs Sea of Thieves. So if they are going to do this sort of early access thing for Sea of Thieves, I think that could release. I think that could release early 2018 for sure. And also, I saw State of Decay, by the way. I saw a live demo of State of Decay at E3, and that game seemed really polished. So I wouldn't be surprised if State of Decay is really close to being ready as well. I mean, yeah, maybe just the demo was polished, but what I saw of it, it wasn't like the Scalebound demo I saw, which was janky and laggy and buggy. The State of Decay demo was polished, so it gave me the impression that it was approaching a ready state, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
So,
ready state. I mean, and obviously it's not coming out in January, February. Otherwise, we
oh my
probably would
god,
never know, right?
TRZ Rector. I can't pronounce your name. Sorry,
State of
just
Decay Battle Royale.
State
Huh?
of Decay Battle Royale. That's a really
Huh?
cool idea.
Do you have zombies in that mode too?
Yeah. So,
Huh?
so you have to survive in State of Decay, and you have to build up your own base and stuff.
Huh?
Huh.
Interesting. That'd be interesting kind of twist on the Battle Royale mode if you had like 100 players or 50 players, but you still had zombies in there with you, right?
That'd be a
So
lot
like,
of lag.
yeah, I don't
They'd
know
have
if
to
they could do
upload
that.
that stuff to the cloud or something. The AI.
Yeah. I don't know. That's interesting though, because now I'm thinking about it. It's like, well, that would be a really interesting twist on the genre because a lot of like the battle royale games are kind of like hiding, getting your spot. But what if you were like always forced to be on the move because there's always or like you had to be in a firefight because there's zombies and then like other enemies hear the gunshots, so they're like no, that's kind of
Oh my
interesting,
god,
right?
that's interesting. Yeah, because for those who don't know, in State of Decay, noise is like part of the gameplay. Like if you make a lot of noise, it pisses off the zombies, and before you know it, there's like a zombie horde smashing your doors in.
Jay Venue says, "What about Crackdown 3 Battle Royale?"
Crackdown 3 Battle Royale with cloud powered destruction.
Huh?
That could be cool too.
Is every game gonna have a battle royale mode going forward? A PUBG mode?
Yeah, man. Let's face it. This is the way it's all going. There's going to be Halo Battle Royale. There's going to be Cuphead Battle Royale. There's going to be
A Halo battle royale would be
Ori and the
interesting.
Battle Royale.
Come, no, but I mean, honestly, the State of Decay one actually like made me pause and think, huh, that could be interesting because if you could add like AI to the map as zombies, and you still have the scrounging for item, because that's what like State of Decay is. You still scrounge for items and stuff and build a base. But if you just had like a multiplayer mode where it's like you go out there, you scavenge, you have like AI out there that are like kind of like attack the humans, so you actually have to move. You can't really camp. You shoot them. The sound, people know where you're at. I think that'd be cool. Kind of be an interesting take on the genre.
That would be. Someone asks, when do you think Ori 2 is going to be released?
2019 at the earliest.
That game's like, I'm not even worried. Like people talk about Anthem, and I'm like, ooh, Anthem. I'm worried about that game. But Ori 2 is like definite. There's no reason to worry about that game.
2019 at the earliest, maybe 2020, because like that trailer was the only one that didn't have a date at the end. When Microsoft talks about their games for next year, they never mention Ori ever, which should tell you all you need to really know about when they expect it. Because if it was scheduled to come out next year, they would be like, and Ori, but they never talk about it. So
I tell you what, I'm hearing good things about.
What? Good stuff?
Which probably people on this podcast won't be that interested in. Age of Empires 4, apparently. Yeah, I didn't think you'd be interested, but apparently They're doing some really cool things with that franchise.
Yeah, I mean that's cool. That's cool.
It's not coming to Xbox, obviously, but
Sea of
or it
Thieves,
could.
Jez.
But
Sea of Thieves. Do you think Sea of Thieves will be the first Microsoft game to launch a game preview?
yes, I do think so, possibly. By the way, I've got a Sea of Thieves embargo sitting on my inbox right now. I can't tell you what it is, but it's interesting.
Oh, huh. Interesting. Um, Damn God says the creators of DayZ come out and say only Xbox next year. PlayStation fangirls crying, "Oh my God, this coming to a PlayStation." I did see DayZ is supposed to come out again, but who cares at this
Isn't
point?
DayZ garbage?
Who knows?
I don't know.
Like,
People hate it, don't they? I don't know.
I don't. I never played DayZ. Who really cares? I mean, PUBG and Fortnite have kind of, I don't know, like taken over that genre.
The only
Is
game I
DayZ
care
a
about next year is Surviving
surviving
Mars. That's the only game I want.
surviving Mars? Huh?
I've got a Surviving Mars pin right here, and Surviving Mars is my jam. I want to
So
be Matt Damon.
you want to be Matt Damon? Like you want to be him?
I want to be the Martian. Yeah.
No. Back to PSX for a second. Are you gonna watch it? Are you interested in it?
Nope.
I know you don't have a PlayStation.
Don't have the bandwidth, man. Don't have the bandwidth.
You don't have the bandwidth to watch it?
No. I don't have the bandwidth to watch the Game Awards. I just what I'll do is I'll just wait and see. I'll probably like just watch Twitter and see what people are talking about.
Is there any game that Sony has shown that it makes you interested in playing it that they shown off?
I love Kojima. I'll buy Death Stranding, and that's the thing about Death Stranding. I don't even care what it is.
Nobody knows.
I'll buy it.
Nobody knows.
I'll buy it. It's Kojima. I'll buy it. So there's Death Stranding. God of War, obviously, hyper violence. Love it. I'll buy it. Jez, how juicy is the Sea of Thieves info? It is very juicy. So stay tuned for that later on. Can't tell you though. Can't tell you, but it is juicy and it's good news. What else? What are we talking about? Games that Sony could show off. I don't know, man. Sony. There's a lot of good games coming to PlayStation that I'd be interested in, but it's kind of like I've got a PC, and next year we're going to start covering PC gaming more. So which means I've got to be on Steam a lot more, and I barely have time for the games that I've got. I can't buy a PlayStation. PlayStation has too many games. Too many games, man. Too many games for me.
So your backlog is too strong that you can't just afford to pick up another system.
My backlog is horrible, man. It's a nightmare.
I know. I did see a Creepy Bunny sent me this thing about how PSVR is going to be $200 next week, and he's kind of really been pressuring me into buying it. It comes with like Gran Turismo Sport. He's like, "You should get this over Switch," and I'm like, $200. I mean, that's a pretty good price for PSVR. You know?
No, don't buy PSVR. It's a toy.
But you just said VR is good, though.
Yeah, but PlayStation VR isn't good. The motion controllers are garbage.
Yeah, but isn't PlayStation VR like the one that actually has all the games?
No. PC has all the games.
What do you mean, no? What, Windows? The Windows one is? The Windows doesn't have any games.
Yeah, it does. It's got Steam. Steam VR works on Windows.
Oh.
And you can actually use Revive and get all the Oculus games on it too. So, but I'm not even saying buy a Windows mixed reality headset. Get an Oculus Rift or something. They've come down in price. You want the resolution, man. I mean, Doom and Skyrim look terrible on PSVR compared to PC. And if you are getting,
well, I wouldn't play either of those. So I'm not really interested in playing Doom or Skyrim. I'm not interested in playing Skyrim again. Period. So.
Well, Doom VR is a separate game. It's not like Skyrim that's just been ported to VR. Doom VR is actually a standalone game with a new story, a new character.
Oh.
So
I don't know.
Honestly, I would wait on VR. I mean, I talk about how impressed I am with Windows Mixed Reality and stuff, but it's still very much an early adopter experience, especially the Steam VR stuff. It's not that well integrated in Windows Mixed Reality. And if you do get a HTC Vive or an Oculus Rift, then you have to set up the stupid the stupid motion sensing beacons and all that bollocks. It's just too much hard work. I mean,
Yeah.
PSVR is probably the most convenient, but even then, you need the camera. So too much hard work, man. It's a load of bollocks.
I'm still kind of swamped with my games. I've been clearing out some of the stuff with games like Mr. Pumpkin Adventure. Hold on, Jez, answer some questions because my dog is crying upstairs. I'm gonna have to go see what he wants. I'll be right back.
Oh, okay. Guys in the chat, give me some questions while we wait for Rand to check on his dog. I need to ask Rand what his dog's name is because I don't have a clue. J Venue, PSVR, Oculus, HTC, mixed reality. Which one? Honestly, I'm not just saying this because I'm an Xbox fanboy or whatever, but I actually genuinely believe right now mixed reality is the best. Mixed reality is the cheapest. The controllers are the best. They have joysticks and that sort of thing. So that's my favorite. Garuda Legends, you don't need Windows to run Steam. Is that true? You can run Steam on Mac OS and Linux. But if you want the best games, you need Windows. You need a full x86 Windows PC. Jez, if you could travel to the future and play any games, what would they be? Fallout 5. I would play Fallout 5. Hopefully Bethesda have realized that they can't just make it all linear and they've given me choices back in Fallout 5. Also, Elder Scrolls 6. I just love Elder Scrolls and Fallout. Basically Bethesda games. I played just Bethesda games for days. Doom 2, Wolfenstein 3. Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. I'd go and travel and play that. There's also a game coming out for PC called BattleTech, which I'm really interested in, but that's Wasteland 3 as well. I'm really, really excited for Wasteland 3, but that's a ways off yet. What's the best wireless headset for Xbox One? Cannibal ZZ. I actually think right now the best wireless headset for Xbox One is probably the Astro A50s, but the best value I would say is the Turtle Beach Stealth 600, which recently came out. It costs $100, and you get with Windows Sonic, you get some basic surround sound, virtual surround sound, but it's fully wireless and it's Xbox wireless, so there's not even a dongle. It's super convenient, so I recommend that headset for value for money wireless. Also, the Plantronics Rig LX800 is also pretty good, but it's a bit more expensive. The L Web says, your thoughts on net neutrality ending next week? I think net neutrality ending next week is going to be really bad for the industry. Kind of lucky in Europe that we've got strong net neutrality laws, but I do worry about how it's going to impact game services. Microsoft might put up the cost of Xbox Live to cover the extra costs of having to pay ISPs and stuff like that. Basically, it's going to cost more for everyone, consumers and service providers. And net neutrality being killed off is a load of shit. And anyone who
you heard it here first, folks. Jez is saying Xbox Live is going up in price.
Yeah, Xbox Live. If net neutrality gets killed off in the US, Xbox Live will go up in price because the ISPs will start charging Microsoft extra money to run their services, and Microsoft will pass on that cost to consumers.
It's already expensive at $60 a year, both for PSN Plus and for Xbox Live. So it wouldn't just be Xbox; it'd also be PlayStation.
Yeah, yeah, it will. All services will go up. Netflix will go up. Spotify will go up. Any service that uses the internet will probably go up in price because ISPs will be like, we're going to charge these companies to use our networks, blah blah blah, and it's going to be awful, man.
That's why you gotta
for Americans. I mean,
you gotta call your senators and your representatives and tell them not to vote for it.
Yeah, but they will because corporations rule America.
Corporations ruin America.
They rule the world, really. But UK's got bigger problems to worry about right now, so we'll probably have net neutrality for another couple of years before they kill it off here too.
Portal Player wants to know if we can predict the game consoles and how they'll win in November and December.
I'm still saying Switch for
Yeah,
NPD.
Switch number one. Uh, for a long time I said Xbox number two, PlayStation number three. Uh, I honestly think it's going to be Switch, PlayStation, Xbox. But I'm just going to keep with my original prediction.
Yeah, I've heard that the rumor is that PlayStation actually absolutely killed it on Black Friday. So I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox is third in NPD, even though they launched a new console. That'd be pretty embarrassing if for console wars, but at the end of the day, doesn't really matter because Xbox is still making more money, I think. But when are we going to see the fruits of that round? When are we going to see?
It's funny. Bunny just tweeted me that I shouldn't listen to you about PSVR.
What that the motion controllers suck?
No, that I should get it, play all the cool games on it, because
Yeah, Summer Lesson, great game.
see, he's hating, creepy. He's hating.
Dude, I've used PSVR and I've used Oculus Rift and I've used Windows Mixed Reality. PSVR is the one that feels like a toy. I don't think
Yeah.
it's worth $200.
I probably would have bought it for that price, but I'm about to drop like over $1,000 for a PC. So
Skip it. Honestly, if you're not that interested in it, see, I'm in a weird position because I didn't pay for my mixed reality headset. I think if you asked me to pay $350 for my mixed reality headset, I probably wouldn't have because the content, even on Steam, the content isn't there yet. It's still there's still only like a handful of games that are worth it, I think. So I don't know. It'll be good in 2 to 3 years. Maybe
yeah.
wait a generation, man.
And with that, I think we're gonna end the show. It's getting close to 5 o'clock Central Time. So Jez, anything you want to say before we head on out of here for the week?
I don't know. Stay safe, kids. Don't do drugs. Stay in school. Don't play Barbie games. And yeah, follow me on Twitter at JZCorden, JZCORDEN. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Rand getting a gaming PC? Not really. It's more of a PC so I can do more video editing for videos. I'm not really interested in gaming on PC. I know, shock, right? Like, I have no interest. But this PC is 7 years old, and it does take me a long time to render a video in 1080p, which is why I really don't. So I want to get a better PC because it's about time, and because I can potentially produce better video quality content.
And you'll love PC gaming when
I don't care about PC gaming.
Stellaris, the best
Don't
game
care.
ever.
Don't care.
But Rand, you can fly ships around in space.
I know. So as for me, I'll be dropping videos during the week. Probably something for the Game Awards, something for PSX. As always, if you enjoyed the show, make sure you hit the like button. Sub to the channel if you haven't already. Jez's Twitter is in the link if you want to follow him on there. And have a good rest of the day, guys. And we will see you next week for episode 34. Later.
Later.